That's the team that plays to win for you and me.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Shin Boners podcast. On today's pod, we'll be previewing this coming week's clash against the Power. As always, for the last time, as he's going on a little holiday mid-season, which is probably going to get him on the watch list, I would have thought. We've got the big Chief. Chief, welcome back. You'll have the biggest case of FOMO for the 2.5 weeks or however long you're gone for.
Yeah, thanks for welcoming me back, and I'll have a little break. And the Frog will take over my chair. Never had a win, the Frog. Never been on for a winning pod, so that better happen while I'm away.
Oh, I hope so. And just before we get into all the serious stuff, I want to just take a moment to thank our listeners, to those who reached out and shared their thoughts on the pod and a bit of group therapy work. And we really appreciate all our listeners, new and old. So welcome back, everyone. And we're recording early on a Tuesday because you're going away very shortly. So still hurts, the loss, and the media coverage has been thick and fast about Clarko and the group, and well deserved, really. I mean, I don't think any of it's been untoward, and the pressure's right on the boys. And in previous years, well, for as long as I can remember, North Melbourne sides have always come out and responded to big losses and underwhelming performances, and that's putting it lightly. And unfortunately, for the first time, I reckon I don't think we will. What are your initial thoughts on will we respond and some of the criticism we've faced?
The criticism's all fair. I think you can't perform like that. We put the spotlight on it. The whole world was watching Good Friday, and it was a pathetic performance. And I think what better way to respond than get our first win in Adelaide against the filth of Port. That's how I look at it. And we've got to be very, very competitive. Got to be very, very hard at the ball. That's non-negotiable.
Well, that was our trademark as the Shinboner spirit. You know, we might not have the most skilled list, but we'd always give it 100% and, you know, bust our guts till we throw up, like Shimmer back in the 70s. So
exactly.
That's just not the blueprint of this team at the moment. And I think Clarko needs to get tough. And if you're not willing to put in the work defensively, then pack your bags and head out the door.
Yes, obviously we're doing this on a Tuesday, so well before team selection, but I'll be very interested in how sharp the axe is, because he's got to wield it.
He does, and we certainly have when we get to our team changes in a little bit. But a big milestone game again this week for a new Roo. We've got Luke Parker scheduled to play his 300th, barring he doesn't have a rest. So congratulations to him, and I reckon he'd be top 3 in the Sid Barker right now. I think he's been really impressive since coming to the club. He's obviously joined the club he wanted to in the CCC and playing with broken ribs. So how have you found his season so far?
Yeah, well, it was pretty good, but then the last couple of weeks he's been a lot better. And finding out he's had the broken ribs, you can understand why he was probably a little bit slow to start.
What do you put his form down to?
Oh, his recent form.
Yeah, I think I know. But
No,
what do you
no, I'm not claiming that. But
I reckon it's
he's got a lot to celebrate on his 300th, but nothing more than joining the CCC. Because I think we've both always enjoyed his the way he plays. Even when he was up with the Swans, he was always hard at it, in and under. Football is footballer, uncompromising type of operator.
He is, and he's been a good addition to this side. In the big three, he's clearly been the standout of the 3 experienced players we brought in the off-season, and he would be one that would be demanding a lot better than some of the efforts we've seen. And hopefully we can respond not only for the club, but also for him in his big game.
Yes, and I'd just like to say that we haven't played anyone of note yet. We haven't played a top 4 type team yet.
No, I don't think we have
And
either.
look at the results. Probably Gold Coast were the closest, but how the hell did Richmond beat them? I didn't watch that game.
Well, I'll tell you how they beat them, because they did something we didn't do. They brought bloody pressure.
Yeah, well, we were with them like for 3.5 quarters, Clarko. But Richmond taught them a lesson.
They certainly
And
did.
Richmond, I mean, we should be miles ahead of Richmond.
Well, this is going to get me in a tangent, because you don't have to have talent, you have to have effort.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, some of our talented players are resting on their laurels and not bringing in the required effort.
Or defensive effort. Or is it system? Do they not understand the system? Surely they've had 3 years, or they're in their 3rd year under Clarko.
Well, if one of the greatest coaches of all time can't teach them system, I don't think anyone can.
No, so they've got to have a look at themselves.
They do. And the whole coaching group as well.
Yeah.
Everyone's under the pump at the club. The board down.
Yes. Well, it's not where we thought we'd be. We thought we'd passed all this.
Well, that's why you and I were speaking about this earlier in the week, that we traded away our first round pick because the club were chips in that we'd make the bounce. And what we're seeing so far this year is we're nowhere near it.
Yeah, the club always say we know where we are, small steps. Well, clearly, trade period, draft night, when they trade out this year's first round, they thought we'd be better than what we are. And we're a quarter of the way through the season, we've got one win, and we've had 3 buildings.
In a row.
Yeah. So that's why it's line in the sand time this week. An away game, get the group together, go out and smash them.
Yeah.
And I don't mean smash them on the scoreboard. I just mean smash in hard, run hard both ways. And let's see where we end up. Because if we do that, I reckon we can be more than competitive. But if we turn up the toes like we have been, which is so un-North Melbourne and disgraceful, we'll get what we
deserve. Yeah, I'm 100% with you. And but there's some of the messaging, like you can't have it both ways. You can't bet an each way bet when you've only got one pick. It's we know where we are. It's a long process. But then trade your first round pick and say we're expecting to bounce.
Yeah, we're going to rise and it'll happen quickly. Well, it's not happening quickly enough, but we've still got 3/4 of the season to go. They're going to have to string some wins together to make that trade look effective.
Yeah, well,
and that's nothing against the bloke we got, Whitlock.
No, and we massive fans of Witters and what he can do.
It's more about the messaging from the club that they obviously thought we were going to rise fairly quickly this year, and we haven't seen it. And our percentage is plummeting every week.
It is. We can't accept getting belted anymore. And North fans have had enough. We were definitely the most loyal fan base in the AFL.
Yep.
But we've had 6 or 7 years of this crap. So enough is enough. But let's move on a little bit because we were so angry last pod. We forgot to do our numbers. As for those who might be new listeners, we're going through each episode number and the corresponding final number in that. We're naming our favourite player to wear that Guernsey number that we've seen. Not necessarily the best, but the favourite. So last episode was 106, so number 6. I'll go first. For me, it's Shannon Grant. He was one of the first sort of players that I drew towards when I was a young tacker watching footy. He played 243 games, 323 goals. That's just for his time at North. Norm Smith medalist of the 99 flag, a BNF winner and an All-Australian, and a champion of the club.
Yeah, absolutely. Loved his work. Goal-kicking midfielder, could play half forward. Always come up with a clutch goal on the left foot. Very good player.
And before you go to yours, also for our little draft watchers as well, he's got a 17-year-old son, Archer Grant, who's in the TAC Cup squads, I believe.
So hopefully he becomes a gun and we can get him cheaply. Get him cheap, and then he becomes a gun would be ideal.
Yeah.
He's not for this year's draft though. He's the year after, isn't he?
I think he's top end this year.
Is he?
From what I read in the Herald Sun. So going off their info,
I haven't got to draft night, so I've lost interest in the draft. Because we haven't got a pick till the second round, which could be in the 40s.
Yeah.
I reckon first round could be the longest ever this year.
Yeah, and the way Richmond are going.
Yeah.
As well. The other pick might be in the 50s.
Yes. Anyway, we'll get to that later. My favourite, number 6, is Georgie Boy, CCC, Chiefs Competitors Club. Look at his game last weekend. Okay, he hasn't played a lot, to be fair. He's only in his 3rd year. He's played 26 games, kicked 8 goals. But I just love the way, from day dot, when he debuted against the Swans, I've loved the way he goes about it. He's an unpolished gem, isn't he? He's just hard as a cat's head. Love it. Unlucky to miss out was Arnold Brightus. Because he played in the 70s and 80s and 161 games, 279 goals. If there was a fight, he was in the middle of it. I loved him. He'd have been a CCC type operator. Don't worry about that. But it's Georgie for me, and I'm looking forward for the next 12 years to watch him.
Yeah, very
good. And you got, after on what has been a very dark and bleak Easter, you told me that he's keen to re-sign.
Well, that's what was reported by, I can't think if it was John Ralph or Jay Clark. One of the 2 Herald Sun guys were reporting that he's keen to extend. So
Brady?
Give him
get
what he
onto
wants.
it. Get onto it. I'll tell you what, LDU. I don't know would he be happy? He's re-signed last week. We're all happy. So and then we've dished up that.
Well, my argument to that is, you want that money, you got to perform better than 20 touches with half of them being turnovers. So
Yes, I agree.
you've got to be part of the change.
I agree. But
We don't have enough players saying, I'm going to lead the change. It's not just going to happen. That's another thing. Well, this is getting a very negative pod, but I'm sick of hearing it's just going to happen. You've got to be part of the change. You can't just think it's going to click and just go through the motions. You've got to be part of the change.
Exactly.
You've got to be desperate for it to change quick. And that's all the messaging in the pre-season. Oh, we're hungry as a group. Well, that's not being translated to on-field performance at the present time.
No, it's not.
To use a Jared Healy at the present time. He used to say that about 15 times during commentary. I don't know if he still does. But let's get to this episode, which is 107, so number 7. And I was going to go your man, but I've done you a service as you're going away present. But I had a great second option here.
Yep.
So I've gone for Adam Simpson, 306 games. He was a former captain of the club, 2-time premiership player, Sid Barker medalist, an All-Australian, and a great shinboner person, still in the media now, backing the boys in, and someone I'd love for him to get back involved in the club in some capacity, whether that be even simple as on the board, or if we can fit him in the soft cap to get him in helping Clarko. He's a great North Melbourne person and a great mind for football.
Yes, and he was narrowly my second. He's great, Simo, and I remember watching him. Can't remember the game, but I was there live, and he dragged us over the line. He just got every clearance around every stoppage possible, and it was probably a bit of not the most polished kick forward, because that wasn't his one wood, but getting the hard ball was. And I remember back when Dennis was running the show in about 1995, and I was calling for him to come in because he had a great leap. He was playing that 6 forward role, if you like. He was the last one picked in the forward line, and Dennis left him out a few times. But he had a great leap, and he could take a good mark. And he revolutionised the third man up in the ruck. He made that his own, and we got a lot of benefit out of that. And obviously that's now banned. But he was great, Simo. Loved him, and Geelong should send him a Christmas card every year because he had the 43 possessions down at probably the last time we won at the Cattery, and we beat Geelong, and then they had all their little meetings and we're not good enough, and we sat in a circle and said to Adelaide, you don't try hard enough defensively and all this stuff, and then they went on to become what they are today. That was all started by Simo and the Roos.
There you go, down history lane with the big chief.
Long way down, sorry. Anyways, but mine's JC, Jack Zeeble. What an absolute gun. I mean, there's a bit of a theme, isn't there? I've got George and now I've got Jack. They just hard at it. The hard, uncompromising attack on the ball.
He's the ultimate hard man, isn't he?
Yeah, and spoke well. Like when he was captain, really good leader, spoke well. Unfortunately, we thought he had the bad period at the end, but we're still in that bad period. And Jai and LMAC had to carry the torch as well. But Jack was great in that dark period. He was great when we're up and about making preliminary finals. Really good. That one again against Geelong. Yeah. How good was he in that preliminary final? Oh, it wasn't a qualifying final. Yeah, semi-final. Whatever it was. He was a gun. Hard at it. Back with the flight. Take them all on.
So how many games did he play? Did you say?
Oh, sorry. No, I didn't get to that. I was still glowing over him. He played 280 games for the Mighty Roos.
Well, hang on. Before you move on, how many do you reckon he played 100%?
Oh, about 2. But, because that's the way he played. He didn't come off without bruises. His jumper was always dirty when it came off. Anyway, 280 games. He was obviously captain of the club and 181 goals. He could play in all 3 segments. He started out as a grunt midfielder, and he also played back and could play forward.
He was really
and
good.
He played everywhere under Noble, didn't he? He was throwing him everywhere. So, we kicked 6, I'm pretty sure, against Collingwood in a half, playing on Jeremy Howe. They threw him forward in a half. I'm pretty sure he kicked 6. And Howe's not a bad player, but, he didn't no jumping all over Jack.
No.
Jack just belted him up.
Oh, very good. Well, let's get into our preview of Port Adelaide. So the last time we met, We got absolutely belted, and we were there down at Boot Park. We went down 107 to 48, so a really dirty day. Having a look at some of the lead possession getters, LDU had 35 and kicked a goal, so we'll take that again this week, thanks. Zach Fisher had 32, and from memory was really good off half-back. And Darcy Tucker had 29.
Probably one of his best games.
It was. It sparked our memory when we were looking at this before, but that was his first game where we were calling for his head as a winger, and he went to half-back that day and was pretty solid. But another player who will feature later on in the team changes, there's a bit of a spoiler there. But actually, let's get straight into it. But before we do, I forgot to mention, we still yet to win Adelaide Oval for those who might not be fully across it, and the Adelaide curse. So for our Adelaide listeners and Adelaide members, we hope that they can get along and see a win, because it's been a long time between drinks for those guys.
Yep, and the best way to shut the critics up, including us, is to perform, and a win would do that.
Yep.
For a week.
Yeah, it would. So let's get to team changes. So we'll start with the outs, because that's what people want to hear. They want to hear the axe swung, and this is only our opinion.
Yeah,
but
I'll go first. Fisher.
Well, Fisher's out with a
it's
hamstring. I've got Griffin Logue out.
Yep.
Some of the efforts, not good enough.
That's a big call.
Yep. Colby McKercher, out.
Oh, yeah.
Same reasons. Darcy Tucker, I've got him out as well. I just don't think he's offering enough. And
Well, Darcy Tucker's one of those nice footballers, but he wouldn't get a game in any other team, or certainly no other decent team.
No. And Jack Darling, I've got him not dropped, just managed, I think.
No, but don't be soft. He's either in or out. He's not managed.
He is for me.
Okay.
But
what's wrong with him? You've
just-
had a look at Kevin's notes, have you? Kevin White, the head of sports science.
You play 6 and then you have a rest when you're at 33 or whatever.
Right.
And
I think that's a bit soft, are you? I think you get the axe. If you get the axe out, you might as well swing it hard. Yeah, it's good. I like it.
And then ins, so Jackson Archer comes straight back in.
Straight back in.
Put
the vice captaincy on him. No.
So I've dropped Logue, right? So I'm putting Charlie Combin to centre half forward. So we need a key position player.
Yes.
So the shotgun, get him in. The shotgun for McKercher.
Shotgun Will Dawson.
Will Dawson,
those
sorry.
not all over it.
Will Phillips comes in as well.
Yep, Will Phil.
He's joint leader with Archer and straight in for mine.
Okay, yep.
And
What's he bringing that the others don't?
he's bringing contested work. He's bringing defensive efforts. He's bringing tackling. He can actually lay a tackle. unlike some of the
pythons.
mids.
No
He's
one's
bringing
dead.
the 26-inch pythons, brother, holster. And so he's straight in for mine. He was unlucky to be. Ever since he's been dropped, we've been belted in the midfield and belted as a team.
Yep.
So he comes in for mine. For Tucker, Riley Hardiman. I mean, some of his defensive efforts aren't great, but he offers run and good use, which is what we need.
Yep. And a line breaker, because we haven't got a line breaker in the back 6, have we? With ball in hand,
No, we haven't.
running bounces.
And for Darling,
Yep.
I've brought in another sort of hard runner, Bailey Scott. Now this, I was calling for his head, but the one thing that he can do is run defensively. And that's the biggest fault in our game at the moment. So he's coming in for mine. As his ball use might be a bit ticky-tacky, but I'd rather someone who will run their guts out and have a fair income crack and might be a bit shaky with ball use. So he's coming in for mine. And then you and I have talked and we're going to make a statement with the sub.
Tommy Power or McKercher, because I didn't realise until just I listened then that you're dropping McKercher. So I think either him or Power, one of them's dropped, one's a sub. Because I think both of them can bring something on as the sub, a point of difference.
Well, let's have a look at
But my biggest one, is I agree with all of yours. I didn't really do mine, but I agree with all yours. But the biggest one for me is Chom Ford.
Yeah, it has to happen.
And our game plan, I think why we bomb it for long forward from 80 out is to stop the bounce off half back. And we haven't got the skill set to hit the little chiseler to someone 40 out from goal. To try and so we can lay a defence around it, but they're still walking through the defence. But at least if Chom's there, he'll put defensive pressure on ground ball better than Larky does. At least as good as Darling does. He's probably quicker than Darling. And he could take a contested mark. He shouldn't be outmarked unless he's out positioned. And his best game by a mile was against Melbourne when the midfield put pressure on and they were being torn apart in the media for just dump kicking it long, and that suited him beautifully. But since then, all the teams have just hit ups, whether it be his opponent or someone else's in the zone, and he can't get an intercept mark. So throwing forward.
Yeah, we don't apply enough pressure to create the opportunities for him to intercept mark.
No, because they just walk it through the midfield, and then the opposition have got an easy time to assess and hit the correct option. So, and I want to see pressure. I mean, I don't think we mentioned in the review pod. We mentioned a lot of stuff, but Carlton brought some really good pressure, and we brought none. And everyone can bring pressure. That's what freaking annoys me. Frontal pressure, bring it up. And we didn't see tackles. So when we actually had the man there to tackle, they just walked it through.
Yeah. Well, for those who are interested, check out the David King segment on First Crack, where he shows some damning vision of some of the so-called pressure, inverted commas, because there was none of it that North were bringing, because it was appalling. So let's have a look at the matchup. So as we always start in the middle, where the game's won and lost. So Big X coming against Jordan Sweet.
Yep.
Who, bit of a bash and crash style ruckman, but he'd be in the sort of bottom 4 rucks in the comp, would you say? That's fair?
No, I think that's fair. If X is anywhere near fully fit, he should have a comprehensive win.
Yeah, Will Phillips, I'm not sending a direct tag, but more of a keep an eye on Zach Butters, because I think he can keep up with him. I think Butters, well, he's come in for 2 weeks, and they've looked brilliant, Port.
Yeah.
He's a real barometer for them. Shut him down. And he'll lead him to the ball as well, Will Phil. And so keep an eye on him. Not a direct tag, but more of a... He can line up on him at the stoppages.
Yeah,
is more
arm
where
across.
I'm going. Yeah.
Arm across.
Yeah. Then you look at their other mids. Ollie Wines has another heart problem, which I know it's not funny, but it's coincidental that also happened last year before we played them, and he ended up playing.
And he played really well.
And he tore us a new one.
Yeah.
So,
and then we were going to recruit him.
Yeah, that's right.
People were calling for that.
So I don't know whether he'll play, but they've got Willem Drew, who'll probably go to LDU.
He'll definitely go to LDU. If Harry's in there and he's getting off the chain, he'll go to Harry.
Yep. And then JHF, obviously the Judas.
George.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think he'll be scared of George. And one thing we know with JHF, he's a talented player, he can't deny that, but he doesn't like to chase.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like to... He likes to put the hands on the hips so you could burn him.
The thing is with him, and we saw it live at Boot Park, all their other mids, anyone else around the stoppage, block for him. And he just tears through it at 100 miles an hour. And that's why when he gets it, he looks really good, because he just bursts from the stoppage. But what you don't always see on the TV is the amount of bumps, and it's the stars. It's Butters, it's Rosie, it's Drew, it's whoever. They'll all put blocks on him. So just be aware of that. And we need someone on the defensive side of the stoppage to put pressure on his kick, because he's a pretty good kick, as he should be, for his draft level.
Yeah, well, I've just realised, this is on air, this is not good, that I've forgotten someone to bring in. So scratch Bailey Scott, he's playing 2s again.
Okay.
Eddie Ford coming in for mine, he should be in. And he can match up on Rosie, who's been moved to half-back as a distributor, and try and make him accountable.
Yeah, Rosie's very nimble of foot.
Yeah, Elvis will bring the pressure.
Yeah, okay. He'll be able to outmark him, you'd hope. But I did not notice, I watched a bit of the Port game, and Rosie was just hanging around Radaglia or whoever their deepest tall was, and they'd be 2-on-1, he'd bring it to ground, then Rosie'd get it. So, yeah, it'd have to be a hard tag, I suppose.
I just want to see time put into him, because the 2 games that he's played at half-back, there's been nothing.
Yeah, so what about Casanti?
Yeah, that's another option.
Because he's very close, if not dropped in mine.
Yeah, he was right on the edge, but I've given him another go.
At least he'll shush the crowd when
when we're 90 points down.
My God. Now, that's another thing. Clarko's got to make a statement there. Saying, mate, it's not all about you. Come on. Well, that's not shin bonus stuff.
If you watch it back, he's kicked a impressive goal, and he's done it, and then you could see it in his eyes, he's thought, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And he sort of played
I think keep that in the bag for a while.
Yeah.
You're barely a best 23 player, and you're bringing that out when we're 80 points down. It's not the go.
Let's have a look at their forward line. So they've just got the 2 key forwards in Georgiadis and Ollie Lord. So I'm sending Will Dawson to Ollie Lord.
Yeah. Will Dawson, big lockdown defender, 200 centimetres.
Well, they're both 200 centimetres and both young. So Ollie Lord's young.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Yeah.
So they're just a like for like. Just go head to head and see how he goes.
Yep.
And then Georgiades or Core probably gets that one. So
Yep.
lock him in for 4 free kicks.
Back shoulder. Don't grab his arm. Don't put your arm around his waist.
I do feel sorry for Core because it doesn't take much to give away a free kick as a key defender these days.
No,
and they
it
seem to
doesn't.
pick on him.
Yeah, the others seem to get away with a lot more than he does. And yeah, I feel very sorry for him, but you just got to play to the whistle, I suppose. And if the whistle's getting blown every week, you've got to change. Don't get beaten by what you know, David.
David King, for those playing at home, he loves saying that.
He loves
having a look at their third tall, so they don't have a genuine third tall, but they play Power Pepper in that position. So
Elmac.
Elmac is...
Or Arch.
Yeah, I've got Archer elsewhere.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
he's
I'm just
replied
thinking on the
elsewhere,
fly.
But Elmac's probably the likely matchup there.
He's strong, Power Pepper. He'll burst, so you need senior body like Elmac would be perfect for him.
Oh, if you put Hardiman or anyone like that, he'll just push them off.
Oh, yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Then looking at their small brigade, so they've got Rioli, who I'm probably sending Archer to.
Oh, yes. He beat him last time.
He did.
Yeah.
Then they've got Burne-Jones and Mead. So
A couple of no-names. Lock
Daniel and
them
Hardiman.
in for 8 goals between them.
I think Hardiman to Burne-Jones and probably CD to Mead.
Yep.
Then looking at our forward line, so they've got the 2 key defenders who love to intercept there in Radaglia and Alia.
They aren't great one-on-one.
No, they're not.
Isolate them one-on-one with a decent kick, hopefully at least 60-40 to our advantage, and we should be able to expose them. But if it's a hack kick, or to their advantage, look out. But that, particularly Alia is not great one-on-one.
No, he's
I
not.
know there's the other Radaglia. He's not great one-on-one. So lower the eyes, kick to advantage, get it in quick one-on-one. I think we can do some damage there.
But if you look at that whole back 6, really, it's built around the intercept game, that back line. So they've got those 2 they love to intercept. Then they've got their distributors in Farrell, Bergman,
Rosie now,
Josh Sin, another one who
so-
aren't great defensively. So
Exactly, but they're going to get the intercept mark and go, or bring it to ground, and they're all quick, nimble ball winners, ground level.
So the key to win, right, for me is, well, we have to at least half the midfield. We can't do what we did last week.
The midfield, I'd like to win it so we protect our defence a bit, but
Yeah.
at least half it, because the midfield's their strength.
And they've got Bergenwin who goes back there as well. So bring it to ground and bring the pressure. We can't let them just easily chain it out because they've got the users that'll just carve through our pathetic zone.
Yeah.
And it'll put too much pressure on our key defenders. So Lockie Jones is probably their 3rd key back. He might probably get the Zerha matchup, I reckon.
Yeah, he
which-
will, because he's strong.
He's no good, Lockie Jones.
No,
So take
he's good.
Zerha.
He is strong.
Full forward, take him to the cage. Get Larky out of there with Alia and Chom with Radaglia and one-on-one. And that's another thing. If we're getting belted in the midfield again, I want to see change. I don't want to see the same 3 going back there. I want to see Zerha put in there for a tough body who'll run and tackle. I want to see Paul Curtis in there if things aren't working as well. And that's another one. Like, who's going to match up on him? He's probably going to get Miller Bergman as well. So we say this every week, right? But we can expose it if we lower our eyes.
Yes.
If we're going to dump kick, don't listen to the last 5 minutes because it's not going to matter.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's as simple as that. But
And the other thing with Chom going forward, he can obviously do the second ruck work.
Yeah.
He can do the ruck work in the forward line, and when X needs a spell, he can go in there, and I think he'll be good.
he'll be more effective than Darling, and that's no
absolutely.
disrespect. I think JD's tried hard.
He's 8 centimetres taller to start with, and he's, 8 years younger.
He can jump.
And he can jump. And as long as he doesn't break down, it should be a win for us. Who's their second ruckman? Lee Lord, probably, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so... Yeah, we should have a win in the ruck, either way.
You'd hope. Right, let's get to the prediction for the game. Who have you got, and what's your margin for this Saturday's game against the Power?
Right, well, I think it'll be under 30, but they'll win.
Yeah, like I mentioned off the top.
I'd like to say we'd win, but I can't. After watching what we've dished up the last 3 weeks, I can't.
Yeah, I'm much like you. Like I said off the top, in previous years, we've responded to games like last week. I just don't think this group is mentally tough enough at the moment. So I've got Port winning by 42 points.
Yeah, that's not good enough.
And that's
that's a fair tip, but if that's what it is, not good enough. I know it's their home deck, so they're probably 4 goals better. they'll probably get 12 more free kicks.
There'll be 50,000
but
mulleted
we've
bogans.
you look at the talent on our list at the high end, and they're all in the midfield. We should be matching them. And I think our forwards have got talent. The back lines are a real worry because, as we said last pod, they're no better than B graders, and a lot of them are C graders. So that's a real worry.
Yeah.
But
I would have brought, with my team changes, just to go back a bit, I probably would have brought Whitlock in too.
Oh, yeah,
if he was available,
if he was available.
for a third tall. But I'm just running the two talls.
So I think Whitlock, one of his strengths will be he'll be able to play on any type. I think, and he can and develop into an interceptor, which is what if you're playing on any type, that's even better because if you've got someone who's they're not going to use, you just zone off pretty quick when you learn how to do it effectively, and when there's pressure up the ground on the ball carrier.
Exactly. Right, so there's our predictions. Before we get to our tips for next week, we've got Baz's big call, which is 0 from 2. Not going well.
How'd you? Yeah, you tip. You call big call was 12 goals
From Larky, PC, and Zerha. I think they kicked 5.
Yeah,
Looked good early. PC kicked 2 in the first.
Yeah, Larky should have.
Yeah, well, Larky decided to kick it into the post. So.
Yeah. What's your big call this week?
So I'm staying away from the forwards.
Yeah, so give them a rest.
I'm backing in my man. So Baz's big call for the week is we'll see a response in the midfield, led by the 26 inches. So I've got Will Phil, 10 tackles and 6 clearances.
Wow.
That's what you'll see this week.
All right, like it.
Tackling masterclass, he'll put the nose in the trough. I would have gone more clearances, but I'm not sure he'll be in there for every CBA.
No.
So
but clearances count around the ground as well.
They do. But 10 tackles and 6 clearances from Will Phil was my big call for the week. What do you think?
And 3 votes to the Pythons.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Or 10 in the one that matters, the Basti.
In the most prestigious.
Which, let's talk about that quickly. Did you see our man, Basti, Ryan Bastanak, former Shimboner, who our award is named after from when he jumped on our pod?
Yes.
Sending out that he's happy to help in any way. That's great to see former players that still care about the club.
Yes, and one who was traded. So if you had any reason to be a little bit bitter, but no, he's still, once a Shimboner, always a Shimboner. And yeah, that's great.
Yeah, get him.
Get him in for, what's he going to teach?
Well,
In his own admission, he wasn't great defensively. He was a ball watcher.
Yeah, but he was fit as a fiddle.
He was super fit. Yeah,
But he said
loved the
before,
training.
there was a message, you haven't seen this yet, I hadn't shared this with you, but he sent a message a couple of years ago to a group of players, which I assume would have been, Cunners, Jay-Z, Elmac, probably his mates from the time at the club, that he was happy to send the first years up there for a week with him in Queensland. He can go through running and what he used
nice.
to sort of lend his
That's fantastic.
expert opinion, but I don't think it ever eventuated. But
No, it should have, though.
I think I don't think we're in a position to turn away help when
No,
it's there.
exactly. Anyway, well done, Basti, for that.
Yeah, we love Basti, and he's a great man doing great things. So check out his page as well and have a look at the Cristiano Ronaldo sausage he kicked the other day too. It was unreal. Right, let's get into the tipping, and just off the top, I had a stinker. I tipped 2 last week. How'd you go?
Yeah, I think I got the same as you, too. No, good.
So once again, our tipping competition, which has over 150 people in it, up for grabs thanks to SC Rings. We've got a big championship ring. And for any people who watched WrestleMania, and I know there's people who love the WWE, our own Corey McKernan was watching it.
Okay.
Just think Triple H's Hall of Fame ring that he was rolling with. That's what we're playing for here.
That's magnificent. And I was starting to have a bit of a little brag. I was coming up to get on the front page, the top 50, but I'll be well below that now with 2.
Yes.
How pathetic.
The most last week was 5, and guess who got it? Our man, Little Jimmy. So big shout
Little
out
Jimmy,
to Jimmy
right.
for winning the round.
He's the most knowledgeable footy tipper out there.
But we've got a new leader as well. Bulls Cooking on 40 is leading the tipping competition.
Oh, what happened to the other bloke?
He's in second. He hasn't fallen off a cliff yet. Last year we had Kieran Hume do that.
Yeah, we did too. Prizes only paid our first. So,
yeah.
So you're first or you're first last.
So let's get to this week's game. So Anzac Day Eve, Melbourne, Richmond.
Oh, gee. I think I went Richmond. But I did mine. I've done mine for the next 3 weeks, so that'll either be genius or pathetic. But Richmond for me.
I think I'm going to go the Tigers as well. I mean, I will put the asterisk that we're recording on a Tuesday, so I will, depending on teams, change. But I'm going to go with Tigers just off gut feel at the moment.
Well, is it a night game?
It is.
Bolter's not playing then.
Oh yeah, he's not. Well, that's a good point you raised.
How many night games do they play that he misses out on? I wonder. Wouldn't it be as many
3
as
or 4
in previous years?
No. Anzac Day, Collingwood, Essendon.
Collingwood.
Collingwood for mine. Actually, a decent game of a night here. We've got the Dockers against the Crows.
Yeah, I did my tips before the Dockers lost to who beat them, Melbourne.
Yeah.
But I'll still stick with the Dockers at home.
Yeah, same for me. Saints and Brisbane.
Brisbane.
I've got Brisbane as well. We've both tipped Port to beat North, unfortunately. The Giants versus the Dogs.
Giants.
Bit of a rivalry. These two teams hate each other.
Yeah, that's good.
I've got the Giants as well. I think the loss of Darcy is going to be more profound, especially with no Jamara. Sunday, we've got the Suns and the Swans.
Suns.
I've got the Suns too. They were woeful.
How they get beat by Richmond?
Because they can't play at Marvel. Their coach, it comes from the coach down. He sucks every time they go there. But I think at home they will beat the Swans. Carlton and Geelong.
Oh, Geelong.
I've got Geelong too. And just on the Suns, I'll tell you why they lost. Because the streak is continuing. Every team that has beaten us has lost the following week.
Yeah. Okay.
So, therefore, Geelong beat Carlton.
Yes.
Take it to the bank.
Take it to the bank.
And then Hawthorn and West Coast to finish the round.
Hawks. I don't know how we're going. I watched the second half of that Hawthorn-Geelong game, and this time last year, I said that game would be irrelevant because Hawthorn would be shit. Well, that hasn't worked out well for me because they turned it round. And it's going to be, on our current form, I can't see us getting close to either of those teams. Hawthorn just go as soon as they get it and through the corridor, which Geelong, because of Geelong's really good defensive setup, they were able to cope with that. You know, as best they could in a 7-point, could have gone either way match, but I can't see how we're going to cope with it.
No, that's going to be off current form. We're losing to both those teams by.
And I can't see how we'll cope with Geelong's defence. And we're going to that game. That's a 100th year celebration game. We're going. And I wish I'd have picked any other team other than Geelong, although it'd be hard to pick a team. And for those, I don't know if it was in the media or somewhere I've seen, we've had a tough draw. We haven't so far. As we said earlier in the pod, we haven't played anyone who's probably likely top 4, except for maybe Gold Coast. We haven't played Geelong yet, haven't played Brisbane.
Haven't played the Giants, haven't played Freo.
Haven't played Hawks. Well, the Freo are a bit shaky.
Oh, that'll come good.
Yeah.
They'll come good. Don't worry about that. And we play them over there, so that's going to be ugly. But yeah, so still a lot of tough games to go. But this next 4 weeks, excluding Melbourne, I think they're all winnable in our best form.
Excluding Melbourne?
Is that what I said? Sorry, excluding Brisbane.
Yeah, I knew what you meant, but you said Melbourne.
No, we'll beat them again, hopefully.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
Well, off current form, I don't think
we've got to beat
anyone.
Look, I want to see the effort against Port, and we have to beat Essendon, and I won't be here for that. That should be the Frogs' first winning pod. I'm putting it on the line.
Are you predicting it, or are you saying it should be?
I've predicted us to beat Essendon when I've done my future tips. We have to beat Essendon.
We have to.
But, we said that against Sydney, against West.
Do you know what? I think
Western
we're
Worlds.
actually, and this is ridiculous to say after what I thought a month ago, but I think we're a better chance to beat Essendon than Richmond. I think Richmond are going to be hard to beat against us because they'll bring the pressure. And from what we've seen, we can't handle it.
Oh, so you mean we're a better chance to beat Essendon than we are of beating Richmond?
Yes.
I thought you meant of Richmond beating Essendon.
Oh, no. I'm more confident we'll beat Essendon than what we are Richmond, which is staggering.
I wouldn't say confident of either, but we have to.
Right, that's about us. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed on YouTube. Our goal is by round 10 we want to get to 500 subscribers on YouTube. We're still pretty new to that platform, but we had a lot of you jump on and subscribe. It's the best way to help support the pod. It doesn't cost anything, takes 10 seconds to do, and we really appreciate everyone who has so far. If you could subscribe on any other listening platform, that'd be awesome. Tell a Shimbo and a friend to give us a go and come here for your North chat. So we really appreciate everyone, and good luck, safe travels to you, Big Chief. And,
thank you.
We might have to check in from you from New Zealand at some point or other before you come back.
Yes, well, I just hope,
You're going to find a TV.
I've got to find a sports bar somewhere. Somewhere they must have AFL. If anyone knows, put in the comments where I can watch.
Yeah, or if it's some... hang on. shifty illegal stream as well.
No, nothing illegal. Nothing illegal.
Some way to watch it, because you've got to be able to watch.
Yeah, I don't know. Never been there before, so it'll be all a new experience.
I'm sure we'll find something for you. But thanks again, listeners. We've got the best listeners in the world, and we love our interaction with you. And stay tuned for our review pod against the Power. Hopefully, Frog's debut winning pod, and we'll have your questions as well. So feel free to email any voice messages. And sorry to those who did after Good Friday, but I switched off and I'd checked out. Didn't check a whole lot of stuff, but they'll be back this week.
Yep. And coming up, I've teased it, and I'll tease it again. I was going to drop it this pod, but I hadn't had time to do the prep. I've got a way to fix the draft.
I like it.
Yeah, so that'll come up when I come back, and I'll have time to do a proper prep for it, and hopefully it all makes sense.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks once again for all your support. We'll see you next time.
Okay. Bye from me. Let's get a few wins while I'm away, Kangas. Kana Kangas.
Talk soon, guys. Hopefully after a win. Until then, goes!
Good old North Melbourne, the champions you'll agree. North Melbourne is the team that plays to win for